Welcome back, viewers and listeners, as I imagine most of y'all listen to these. We are going to head forward with two more sessions of Borca. Let's go. Session 12, Ivana's Ploy. The party sets off for rest. Reth, however, stays awake to chat with Ivana in the smoking room. While trying to gauge Ivana's plans, Reth slips in a scheme of his own. What if the vampire, Lyvander, who the group found out about and then decided, no, let's actually not chase down the vampire, we don't think he's the baddie in this land. What if the vampire Lyvander were to aid all the noble houses in hunting down Verderon Ven once and for all? Verderon Ven is an ancient green dragon that is, sealed away but could awaken and wreak havoc in Borca any time. Would not such an event unite the houses and make the leader of the hunt a true beacon to all Borca? And who would be fit to lead such a hunting party? I love this because this is the kind of thing that I wouldn't set up as a DM. This is a player basically proposing a quest that they want to do, and that's awesome. That is a gift to me as a DM. Done chatting, Ivana heads to her private quarters. Reth skulks the grounds to see Jaxie's body. Alas, the kobold has become a dragon-wing bow once more, perhaps never to return. That night, each adventurer succumbs to a lucid dream. Reth sees his hunt for Verderon Ven occurring on the full moon, with him standing as the crown tail of the nine at battle's end. Camellia sees her family's establishments more healthy and green, but also thinks back to the meal and the possibility that they all ate Genefa after she was confined to the kitchen. Light sees a wedding between Ivana and Darsan, until he and Darsan are able to have a more intimate chat of what could have been. And Zatan never leaves his dream. When his body awakens, it is Tally, the spirit that granted Zatan rebirth but tore a rift in Borca's reality, who walks the halls of the estate. So Tally is from the campaign before this that happened also in a Ravenloft realm. That Ravenloft realm was something we made ourselves in the Quiet Year. We got to calling it Gemlandia just because there were lots of magical gems all over, and that was kind of their currency as well as the environment that they were in. So this is a way to tie in an old campaign. And if you'll remember back when they were having a dream sequence from the vampire, Lyvander, Tally also was able to take control of the body during the dream. So we have this split consciousness within Professor Graves' reborn body, and it's created a lot of interplay, not only for that character, but kind of for the campaign, tying in other aspects of Ravenloft and Dark Lords and kind of how that cosmology and metamagic works. Or metaphysics, I guess I should say. Metaphysics, metamagic, you get it. That is not the only chaos afoot. Rubble falls, the dungeon beckons. A grease-mad giant, clankered golem, storms towards Ivana. The construct was set loose by Zibs, engorged with Ivana's toxins and ready to lay claim to Zatan's head, not knowing that Zatan's mind is far from it. While Camellia and Reth defend Tally from the assassin, Lord Light rushes to get Ivana to safety. He thought himself an enemy to both Ivan and Ivana, but grew some respect for the jilted young lady who gave him such sumptuous potions. So this was interesting. I was wondering what would happen with Ivana. She was maybe trying to endear herself a little bit to this group to get on their good side to use in schemes later, and at least for Lord Light, it has worked. This clankered golem, so Ivan Delisnia is described in the Van Richten's guide to be kind of a toy maker, so I have him sending out these warforged that I refer to as clankards. They're not quite as sentient as warforged, they're more robotic, and this one happens to be giant, and I happen to use the stats of a stone golem to chase down Ivana. The clangard creaks. Destroy for Delisnia as it advances on the pair. Ivana knows this dungeon well and expends a venom troll, a plant-like beholder, gas spore actually, and even her treant to help step in between her and the clangard. At the end of the line, Light beckons for Ivana to enter the sewer of plant slurry when he notices Ivana's own green blood. Ivana was said to have made the body stealer plants. Could she herself be a body stealer? Ivana seems to see his suspicion and denies his hand, instead walking up to the clangard to be crushed. Reth, Camellia, and Tally put an end to the assassin Zibs. They make their way through the carnage of the dungeon in the clangard's wake, and together bring down the injured machine creature. Ivana, in the flesh, not a plant, thanks them for their loyal protection. Her 2 half-troll guards and Ganefa, not eaten, arrive in time to witness the aftermath. So, what do you do when you have this Dark Lord put in front of a party that is very good at killing things? Well, you think, how would they keep themselves alive? Beyond the whole Dark Lord defenses that a Ravenloft realm offers. So Ivana, the entire time, every time up until now, she has presented herself to the party, has actually been a plant simulacrum. And the party had no problem with this. They've played at higher levels where wizards are making clones and simulacrums of themselves. They were like, oh, okay, we really should have known that and checked that. But also confirming that while this was a plant creature, it was not one of the 4 body taker plants that they're trying to track down. There's still a couple on that list that they haven't found out about, and they may still be related to Ivana. But she is here now in the flesh and seems pleased because, given the chance, there was a moment where Lord Light's player really could have turned on the attack and taken down Plant Ivana, thinking it was really her, because they've been going after this plant threat the whole time. But he allowed some doubt to be there. He didn't go after the plant, and when Plant Ivana realized that, like, oh, he knows it, the jig is up, she goes and gets herself smashed so that the real Ivana can show up dramatically behind Lord Light. And yes, the whole conversation that the simulacrum was having, Ivana is able to hear. So who knows how many of these simulacrums she might have out and about. What lies next for the 4 investigators? Will they confront Ivana with information on the body stealer plants? What of this plan to hunt Verderon Ven? Could there possibly be an alliance to topple Ivan Delisnia? Endless possibilities, all in the hands of our intrepid party. And I kind of mean that. The way that they've befriended almost Ivana, although they don't know it, but Ivana doesn't have friends because in her mind she's perfect and nobody is really worth her time. This is probably the most time she's given to anybody in years with this party, you know. They could wheel and deal with her and her ties and rumors about the other families and really do something to tip the power, either to put one of their own houses in charge of Borca in the dukedom, or to bring Ivana into power, which is something she ultimately wants and ultimately, due to the torments of this dark realm, cannot have. So this is all going back to the lords and ladies, you know, Game of Thronesiness of Borca. That is why we started this campaign. We go to Session 13, Extraplanar Study. The party takes a final rest in the Baritsi estate. The party learns of Zatan's status as a reborn and how Tally's wandering soul kept his body and mind alive following a terrible accident at the Scalamans. While Tally is thankful for their time with the group, they think it best that Zatan's consciousness is returned to his own body. I was wondering how the player with 2 character sheets was going to play this off, what they wanted to do, because they really liked playing Tally, but they also really liked their newer character, Zatan Graves. So it was completely up to them. I did not want to put a stipulation on, like, you have to get Zatan back or you have to play Tali now. That is the kind of choice that I would like to leave in the hands of the player. But it's not something that can happen instantly. There's a method to how they're going to have to get Zatan back. In exchange for defending her, Ivana offers the party her uncle's cloak of arachnida and a potion. Reth lost a foot to the clankard and contemplates taking a potion of longevity to reverse the effects, but also his age, which one of the players really wants because it's going to make him a little teenage cat and he would be Puss in Boots. For now, Lord Light uses a song of creation to fashion Reth a fashionable peg leg. When Lord Light asks if Ivana will be at the auction in 3 weeks, she declines on account of the group courting Duke Ivan's own presence at the auction. She will, however, be sending her homunculus chef and Mephit Kitchen to respectfully assist. So I wanted to make it clear that the party is not going to be able to be friends with, like, Ivan and Ivana. These two are ultimately very opposed, so if one is going to Lord Light's auction, the other one is definitely not, or at least you don't want them to because they might cause a scene at the other's expense. Reth, Light, Camellia, Tali, and Ganefa depart from the estate. They want to go to the Akratir estate to collect oysters and perhaps bury the hatchet with Lady Ingvild Akratir, who Camellia removed her arm at the first false auction. But first, they want to make a stop by an Ivliskova study tower to bring back Zatan to his own body. They also may make a pit stop by the Praetorius estate and the Treetop Swingers Club, sponsored on the grounds. That was a story point. They continue establishing the lore of Praetorius whorehouses. Let's see. But as they are leaving, the forest road darkens. Heavy hoof-falls approach. It is Sir Dullahan, the headless knight of Duke Ivan de Lisnia. Lord Light is overjoyed to see his former servant. Sir Dullahan unravels a scroll portraying a missing poster for the giant clangard that the group fought. Light immediately blurts out that the clangard is back at the Baritzi estates. Sir Dullahan grows even more grim. Drawing his hellish axe, he heads off towards the Baritzi estate, violently marking the ground with a single word: war. So I was expecting the party to maybe try to lie here, try to weave a tale of like, no, we haven't seen a clankard. We definitely didn't destroy him. But Lord Light was like, oh, it's at the Baritzi estate. We were just there. Which is nice because it does nothing to implicate them, puts all the pressure on Ivana. And now there is a war between these two houses. What's the party going to do about that? The party takes this new development in stride and continues on their way. Not sure what a war between the two houses could mean. They find the Ivliskova Tower, one of a few such research stations and orphanages scattered around Borca, and are granted entry with Professor Graves' presence. Ganefa is left outside with a sandwich as the 4 investigators enter. They chat with the lead researcher in extraplanar studies, Dr. Wendell Wildcloak. Love those halfling names. Upon hearing of Tali and Zatan's situation, Dr. Wendell is fascinated, but not too surprised. He says that they have had previous incursions from another fold in the material, a land of magical gems. The first of these occurrences was on the night of Zatan's accident. Since then, the experiments were moved out to his research tower. To this research tower, excuse me. The times of planar overlap coincide with Borca's bordering mists fading and requires some unknown ritual of science and magic. Borca's mists can fade just like any other Ravenloft realm on the whims of the Dark Lords. So when something happens or someone needs a favor, something stressful happens, Ivan or Ivana can drop the mists for 24 hours and raise them back up again. So when that happens, it also kind of allows other planes to intersect again. So it seems like what these folks have been doing is taking advantage of those moments, conducting an occult ritual, and bringing in stuff from Gymlandia. Lord Light is fascinated by one of the elementals from this other realm, a bubble mephit he nicknames Poot. Suddenly, one of the other researchers bursts into the room. The mists have fallen, and they can reach the gem plane, allowing Zatan and Tally to swap consciousnesses once more. Dr. Wendell rushes everyone to the tower's spire, where the occult devices begin to collect lightning from the swirling sky above, because we're being classic and gothic horror here. Wendell calls forth a dwarven orphan named Stonsel to stand on the dais of lightning. Stonsel is unharmed by the static, but is then shot in the head by Wendell's crossbow. The dead orphan opens a rift in reality through which Tally's spirit has freedom. A shocked Zatan retakes his own reborn body once more, but that is not the only effect brought on by the experiment. A frightening, one-armed figure leaps from the rift and eviscerates one of the researchers. There's no time for scientific pursuit. A bloody skirmish ensues. Next time. Things are very interesting. We are combining in this other campaign. I don't think it's completely relevant for me to go through the story, but I have a small and dedicated viewership who watches these videos. Let me know in the comments if you want maybe a quick rundown of what happened in that previous Ravenloft campaign in a world we made ourselves. For now, that's it for Borca. See you next time, and hey, have a Nat 20 day. Bye-bye.